Good evening and welcome to the January 13th, 2021 North Andover Conservation Commission meeting. Just a brief announcement about tonight's format. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the North Andover Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or a requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at www.northandoverma.gov. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so on their televisions by turning to Comcast Channel 8 or Verizon Channel 26, or online at www.northandovercan.org. No in-person attendance of the members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can immediately or adequately address the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the North Andover website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. If the public would like to participate in a public hearing, please email your question or comment prior to or during the meeting to amaxner@northandoverma.gov. The question or comment will be read during the proceedings and responded to accordingly. So I'll give it to you, Lou.
All right, thank you. First order of business, the approval of minutes for November 18th and December 9th. They have been read. So looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. First order of business is 242-1762, 95 Lions Way.
The Commission will recall the issue was ordered in October of 2019, and it governed the grading and tree removal within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland to replace an existing above-ground surface detention basin with a new subsurface infiltration chamber that was located outside of the buffer zone. The proposed basin, the proposed infiltration chamber is a 63 chamber, 360 HD culvert recharge stormwater system with associated piping, new drain manhole to be connected to the existing discharge drainage pipe. Work was outside of the 75-foot no build zone to the ephemeral pool that is off-site. The project was undertaken in October of 2020, and it was completed within 2 weeks and remained in compliance throughout that time. A as-built plan and engineer certification has been submitted, and I performed a site inspection at the end of November, approved erosion control removal, and all areas of disturbed soil have been sodded or landscaped, and the site is stable. I recommend issuing a full and complete certificate of compliance with ongoing conditions as prescribed in the order. That includes required long-term O&M of the stormwater system and annual reporting.
Okay, thank you. And I forgot to give the order of, we'll just keep it the same. I know Sean's not going to be here tonight, but we'll just keep it the same as, we'll have Jack, Joe, Al, myself, and then Tony. So do you have any questions?
Here.
Do you have any questions, Jack?
Yeah, I remember this project, and I just have a question for Amy. The work was done in October and completed quickly, and then your inspection was in November, the end of November.
Yep.
And there was stabilization at that point. Is that like? Is that stabilization like we normally require?
Well, it's either growing vegetated surface, but they put down sod.
Yeah,
So
you mentioned sod for grass. Are there plantings that they did in there?
there's planters, and the plantings are outside of the buffer zone, but things are stable, even in the little landscape bed. So it's totally stabilized.
Okay, and you approved erosion control removal. That must have meant it's stable. So,
Yep.
nope, no more questions, Lou.
Thanks, Jack. Joe?
Yeah, Amy, I remember at various points in the discussion on this, there was some question about the outfall of the drain pipe, that they may need to do some cleaning out. Was that something they wanted to do or didn't want to do? And that's down beyond, in the backyard area.
I
Not
don't,
seeing it on the record plan.
I don't
So
think I don't think it was cleaning it. I think there was discussion about replacing it, but I think it was agreed that replacing it would just create more disturbance right next to the wetland, and there wasn't a need to do that. It was in good shape.
That's what I'm remembering. So I guess the discussion went is if it needed to be cleaned, maybe they would have, but apparently it doesn't need to because it's in good shape. Okay, I'm all set.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Joe. Al?
I have no questions on this.
Okay. The only question I have, Aim, just to reinforce, I haven't read it down, but the homeowner is going to do the maintenance on this, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no questions. Tony?
No questions.
Motion?
I move that we issue the certificate of compliance for 242-1646. Sorry, wrong one. 242-1762.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Thank you. Next one is 242-1646, 1 High Street.
Okay. Commissioner will recall this 5-year order of conditions was issued in September of 2015, and it governed the aquatic plant management program in the East Mill Pond. The commission will recall that the order had expired this past July, in September of 2020, and the applicant submitted a new notice of intent to receive a new 5-year order to continue this treatment program. So basically, this request for a certificate of compliance is administrative, in that they want to close the old one out and continue on with the new order.
Thank you, Amy. Jack, any questions?
I recommend.
I have no questions.
Joe?
No questions.
Al?
No, all set.
Okay. Just one question, Amy, is when we approved the extension on this, we talked about the E. coli numbers.
Yeah, that got incorporated into the new order.
It is or is not?
It is, yes.
Okay. So
Yep.
we'll get a report every year.
Yep.
I'm on the phone.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello.
The boss on the phone. So we'll get a report every year when you get the vegetation report on the E. coli numbers, correct?
That's part of the testing. Yep.
All right. Thank you. I'm all set. Tony?
I have no questions.
Motion?
Motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for 242-1646, 1 High Street, but noting that it is replaced with the new order of conditions.
Oh, thanks, Joe. I forgot I wrote that. Okay.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Okay, the next one is an amendment on 242-17 1270 Salem Turnpike.
Okay. So the commission will recall that this order governs the construction of a play area for a proposed daycare center at the time, and it may not be a daycare center now, but site improvements included vegetation removal, filling and grading, fencing, and retaining wall and stair construction. Work was in the 200-foot riverfront area and the 100-foot buffer zone to BBW. Waivers were granted for that work. This modification involves the construction of additional parking spaces and associated grading and drainage upgrades for the site. And the commission will recall there was 3 parking spaces proposed in the 50-foot no-build zone that have been eliminated at the commission's request. So most of this new pavement is on the very outer reaches of the buffer zone, not in the riverfront, but very outer reaches of buffer or outside of the buffer. The existing drainage system consists of catch basins and a downstream defender. Additional landscaping and fencing are proposed along the street side of the property. We have a signed stormwater operation and maintenance plan provided with this filing. So at the last meeting, the commission requested plan notations to be included to specify where milling, grading, and resurfacing of and where new pavement will occur in the parking areas. And a plan has been submitted that's more specific in that respect. Let's see. The town engineer reviewed this plan from both the perspective of the town pump station and the stormwater management, and had no issues with it. So the other thing was that the planning board closed its hearing on December 15th and issued an approval letter based on the plans that we have tonight. So I think the commission has all of the information that it has requested, and I think you're free to close the hearing, issue an amended order of conditions.
Thank you. Jack?
Yeah, Amy, just a small item, a relatively small item, out of completeness. I remember the discussion, and it was even in the minutes about snow stockpiling and how we were going to do that. Is that part of the O&M plan? Because the O&M plan wasn't with the attached documents, I don't think.
I'm sorry.
I quickly went through the order of conditions. We can cover it in that.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, but I think it's important. That's a pretty congested, pretty small site, and no room for snow stockpiling. And I don't think they identified any, but we did discuss it last meeting. So
you're right. Yes, we do. We have proposed snow storage called out.
Okay, on the O&M plan?
Well, not on the O&M plan, but the C2, sheet C2.
Oh, it is on C2. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, move on. I'll circle back if I don't see it.
Okay. Thanks, Jack. Joe?
I have no questions.
Al?
No, I'm satisfied with it. Thank you.
Tony?
Oh, there is, yeah.
No, I have no questions. They seem to have met everything that we'd asked them to do.
All right. So we just wait for Jack to.
Yeah, I do see it. Item number 22. I missed it. Okay.
So good?
Yep.
All right, see, we got you. Why don't you make a motion?
I move that we approve the amendment to the order of conditions for 242-1752. And that's it.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous.
And we'll
Next
need to,
is-
oh, wait, no, we need to close the hearing.
We need to close it,
I'll-
okay?
I move that we close the hearing for 242-1752 and issue the decision within 21 days.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb.
Thanks.
Have a good night. Happy New
You too.
Year.
I hope.
We hope.
Next one, NOI 242-1803, 59 Banham Drive.
All righty. Commission will recall that this project involves construction of a 12 by 22-story addition with a garage under and living space above, and with a frost wall foundation. Extension of the driveway to accommodate access to the new garage bay. Work is in the 100-foot buffer zone to BBW, but outside the 50-foot no-build zone. Clarification on the nature of the stream that runs off property. It is a perennial stream. It is not Mosquito Brook, but it does flow into Mosquito Brook. So therefore, it does project 200-foot riverfront area onto the property. And only a very small portion of the driveway expansion falls within the very outer reaches of the 200-foot riverfront. So that was just one outstanding question. And then the other was that DEP had yet to issue their number at the last meeting. So we have a number, and I think the commission is free to close the hearing and issue an order of conditions.
Thank you, Amy. Jack?
I have no questions on this one.
Okay. Joe?
None at this moment, but come back to me when you get to the end of the line, okay? Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Al?
Thank you.
No, I'm looking at the drawing right now, and I'm good. I'm good with this. Thank you.
Okay. Tony?
You're muted, Tony? Yeah, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I had no problem with it last meeting. I'm still fine with it.
Okay. Thanks, Tony. Joe, back to you.
I have nothing at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Motion?
I move that we close the hearing and issue an OOC. I understand there's a draft attached.
Mhm.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Next one is 242-1801, 376 Salem Street,
All righty.
or 378 Salem Street, depending on which one we're looking at. The agenda says 376, and the paper you gave me says 378. I know they're side by side properties, so.
Yeah,
As long as it's 242-1801, that's right.
yes, it is.
All right. That's all we need.
So the commission will recall this project involves the construction of a new single-family house that straddles North Andover and Andover. The proposed stone riprap aprons along the driveway have been, along the roadway have been eliminated from the plan, as the Andover DPW would not accept responsibility for their maintenance as they were situated within their right-of-way. So that was changed to the plan. The commission had no further comments at the last meeting and needed to continue pending the DEP file number. I had requested a detailed cross-section and an O&M plan for the stone shoulders, so that was attached in your meeting material. So I think the commission has all the necessary information and is free to close the hearing.
Thank you. Jack?
Yeah, from what I can tell, they've given us all we've asked for, so I have no additional questions.
Thank you. Joe?
No questions.
Al?
Also, no questions.
Okay. I just have two. One question is, and I'll defer to Joe and Tony. Do you think a 2-foot wide strip is enough, or should we have them make it 3 on the erosion stone?
I mean, what they're required to do is a single lot. It isn't much. I think a 2-foot stone, we just want to have them stop the edge of the driveway from scouring at the interface of the lawn. I think, I see Mr. Blaisdell's on here. What size stone did you specify on that?
Yeah, I think it's 3 to 6 inch riprap.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to move. I think that'll serve its purpose.
Okay. You comfortable with that too, Joe?
Yes, at the very first hearing when this opened up, that was our concern, is that a lot of water is all going to be coming down this driveway, and there's something substantial is going to be able to slow it down and keep it from washing out.
Okay, thank you. The other question I have, Amy, you have a maintenance agreement on this, and that the builder is going to maintain the maintenance of the shoulders. What happens after they sell the houses? Is it going to be in the people's deeds that they have to maintain
I was going to make it a long-term condition that gets recorded with both the order and the certificate of compliance.
Okay, so that the homeowner will know that they have to maintain these riprap shoulders. If they get dirty, are they going to be cleaned or replaced or whatever? Okay, no question.
Lou, hold on. Let me follow up on that. So with the language that Amy's going to put in there, would that be considered like a perpetual condition that would carry on with the title?
It should.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because that's what it sounds to me like that's what's needed. If the intention is to have this continue with the property regardless of the owner, I think it would have to have some specific language, I think.
If I may?
Yes.
Yes.
The last line of the operation and maintenance plan says the inspection and maintenance of the trenches belongs to the owner or the designated property manager if they want to hire somebody to come by and do it. So if you record that with the deed and the conditions, it'll be in there in perpetuity. So it doesn't matter how many times the house gets sold, it'll be in there.
Okay.
And
On a
that was
follow-up question.
Peter Blaisdell, just for the record.
Sorry.
Okay.
And Amy, on a follow-up question, well, that'll be deeded, because that you said that Andy didn't want any part of the maintenance of the
riprap aprons that was at the base that
Right.
ran on that were in the road or within the right of way, not anything to do with the driveway shoulders, but there was 2 riprap areas that initially got placed on the plan that was within the right of way and was aimed to kind of help, slow water down. But
Well, I just wanted how you're going to word it is that you said they maintain the riprap shoulders, because it's not the end of the jurisdiction. I wanted to make sure that it gets all the way to Salem Street or Middleton Street, whatever it is.
Yeah, actually, Lou, you just kind of latched on to one of my follow-up questions. Is these 2 features we're talking about are actually, I believe, in Andover and not North Andover. So I'm not clear on how it is that we're able to enforce condition in perpetuity in another town. It almost I guess I question whether maybe there is joint jurisdiction there, and maybe Andover's order would echo ours, but I don't know that. But these 2 features are in Andover as shown on the plan, not North Andover.
Amy, may I speak for a second?
sure. No, go ahead.
Peter. Pete Blaisdell. So just to clarify, the riprap shoulders that Mr. Chairman had a question about and Tony asked about, there's a difference between the riprap shoulders that come down alongside of the driveway, which is on the property, which is on the private property, which will be maintained. What Amy was mentioning was that when Amy, the developer, and myself met out there one day, it was after a rainstorm, and there was a significant amount of debris and materials coming down Salem Street. And we thought maybe we would offer to do some trap rock in the right of way off of the property. But as Amy said, and as we determined at the last meeting, the town of Andover just didn't want to do that. But everything else that is going to be in here, you do have jurisdiction over, because the majority of the 2-foot wide riprap slopes aprons on either side of the driveway are in North Andover. So
Okay, so the two features down in the right-of-way itself, though they're in Andover, the town of Andover didn't want to construct them on their own. This developer is proposing to do it just as a BMP. And really, our order of conditions is going to be silent on the maintenance of those features out front. We're only talking about the driveway itself. Correct?
exactly, the two features that you mentioned were eliminated from the design because Andover did not want them out in the right of way. So you're only talking about the features that are going to be on the lot, which you have jurisdiction over.
So the plan that I'm looking at that's been circulated for this meeting shows those features still existing. Are you saying that they're no longer part of the project? The ones out of the right of way?
That's correct. You should have a plan that's revised through December 10th, 2020. If you look over on the right-hand side of the title block.
Yeah, I'm trying to get over there now. I don't see that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I sent you guys the most recent in my January 11th.
Yeah, my plan doesn't show the apron in the roadway, but I just want to make sure that the shoulder, the erosion stone on the shoulders of the driveway, part of that driveway is in Andover.
Yep. So I shared the operation and maintenance plan with Ben and Robert Douglas over in Andover. Although they didn't ask for it, we said, in keeping with what we said before, we would like Andover and North Andover to all have the same information. They said, great. And they're just gonna, I think they're just gonna put it right into their order of conditions.
Okay, great.
So
Thank you.
Just for clarification, it's strange because the plans that I got sent to me via email still shows those features. But Amy, the record plan does not show those features. They've been eliminated on the record.
Correct.
Okay,
Right.
fair enough.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm actually looking at it very, carefully, making sure there were no other plans, and these are what I have. Okay.
Thank you. Tony, any questions?
No questions.
All right, motion?
To close and issue in 21 days.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Next one is going to be continued, 242, 1787, and 135 North Ramp Road.
Yep. Continuance to the January 27th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. The next one is 242, 1799, 243 Great Pond Road.
Continuance has been requested to the January 27th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. And 242, 1800, 158 Forest Street. Move to continue.
Yeah, we received a request for a continuance to the January 27th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. And the next one is 242, 1802, 1010 Johnson Street.
Alrighty. This project involves a septic system upgrade to replace the existing failing system. The site contains bordering vegetated wetland and associated buffer zone in the A series wetland, 2 off-site isolated vegetated wetlands that project their buffer zones onto the property are B and C wetland series, and no other wetland resources are on or proximal to the site, and no priority habitat is on the site either. Field inspector and I observed the wetland lines and found them to be accurate. The new septic leaching field is located within the 100-foot buffer zone and the 50-foot no-build zone to the northerly isolated vegetated wetland in the B series, with proposed grading at 30 feet from the IVW at the closest point. A waiver worksheet has been submitted. The existing tank will be utilized and a new pump chamber and piping is proposed. These components are behind the house and in the buffer zone to the BVW, but outside the 50-foot no-build zone. The only thing I saw on the plan that I think might need changing is the erosion control. They called for a straw wattle, but I would suggest a mulch sock, a 12-inch mulch sock, and perhaps place that on the plan. The Board of Health approval is pending, and from what I understand, the system will require a variance for the proximity to the wetlands. It's not compliant with the North Andover setback to wetlands. So that's still not closed out. So I suspect the commission will want to continue the hearing based on that. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Jack?
Yeah, I also think it needs to continue. The Board of Health has a big say in this. I thought the alternatives analysis was a little bit weak. The looks like the statement was, well, we looked at the site and there was no other place to put it. That was the alternatives analysis. So,
Nice try, anyway.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I live near here, but I don't know the site. I think I know which house it is, but anyway, it's that's the only thing that's stuck in my craw. I mean, otherwise, I'm loath to hold up a septic replacement project, but that's the only thing that looked a little bit out of place for me, and that's all I got, Lou.
Thanks, Jack. Joe?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as Jack on this one. You know, I think they really need to demonstrate why it needs to be there, but until such time as they get the Board of Health to weigh in on the actual location of the system, because I think they also try to maintain our integrity of our bylaw by giving us the maximum separation. But it's probably premature to beat them up on the alternatives analysis. But I think maybe as part of the next time they report to us as follow-up, they give us a little more justified explanation of how it really does end up there with no other feasible location.
Thanks, Joe. Al?
I'm in agreement, and I'm all set.
Okay, thank you. Amy, I just have one question. I see the stockpile location areas, but I don't see construction access.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So
We need
that
that.
and we can't approve this plan anyways because we don't know if the Board of Health is what they're gonna do with it. So I'm in agreement to continue. Tony?
I'm in agreement as well. I think we wait for the Board of Health.
Thank you. All right, so we need a motion. Is the applicant on the air?
I
Do
don't
you have
know.
any questions?
Anyone?
Okay. Okay, so we need a
Any
motion to continue. What's that, Amy?
No, I guess no one's here to represent. I don't.
Okay. Do we need a motion to continue? What? Go ahead, Joe.
I move to continue 242-1802, 1010 Johnson Street.
To the 27th.
Second.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Amy, what's the date? What's the continuous date till?
To the 27th of January?
27. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thanks.
All right, next one is abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, 242-1804, 1874 Turnpike Street.
Alrighty, so this is an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation. This site is a 1.08 acre lot currently developed with a single family house. It immediately abuts the Merrimack condo complex. That was a 40B project. Let's see. Bordering vegetated wetlands surrounds the site. Some of the BBW is on-site and some of it is off-site. Wetland flags number from 1 through 25. The off-site portion of the BBW to the east contains 2 certified vernal pools that are located on the Merrimack Condo site. There is no floodplain or riverfront on the site. Associated buffer zone, no disturbance zone, and no build zones are depicted on the site plan, with the vernal pool 50-foot no disturb zone and 75-foot no build zone associated with the wetland to the east is shown on the plan. Field inspector and I walked the wetland line with wetland scientist Greg Hockmith, and we found the delineation to be accurate. And the current conditions consist of wooded areas, large pine trees, and an open understory around the house that consists of natural grasses. It's not like it's turf lawn, so it's more of a natural grass species. That's all I have. I don't know if you guys have questions, but I have no issues otherwise.
Okay, thank you. Jack?
Yeah, so it was you and Greg Hockmith on this line, and you both agreed with it, Amy?
Yes.
Yeah,
Greg's
okay.
with us this evening. If you have any questions for Greg, he's with us tonight.
Oh, hey, I guess just a clarification. It looks like the ephemeral pool is associated with the wetlands in the area of wetland flag 12 through 25. Is that, am I reading that correctly?
Yes. Yeah, there's 2, Greg Hockmith from Williams and Sparagis. There's 2 certified vernal pools within that BVW, as I'm sure you guys know. They're probably, if we were to flag the water's edge from for those pools, we'd probably be about 30 to 40 feet from the BVW boundary. But under your regs, it really doesn't matter because the offset's measured from the BVW. Okay.
I guess why I think that might be an important clarification is our setback lines are shown on the plan, on this ANRAD plan, and we're showing our normal setbacks for flags 1 through 12, I guess, and then we're showing the ephemeral pool setbacks on 12 through 25. It just needs to carry on to the order of resource area delineation that the ephemeral pool setbacks apply. So, if we're asked to approve this plan as part of the ORAD, then I guess that will work. It just needs to be clear that where the setbacks are, and where's the 75-foot setback, where's the 50-foot no build setback. It just needs to be clear as part of this delineation. So as long as it carries through, I'm good. And I believe you guys on your technical work to identify the line. So I'm good, Lou.
Thanks, Jack. Joe?
I just want to make sure that whatever document we issue makes clear that we're not making any determination under the Natural Heritage Program, because in fact, the same exact area was identified as part of the abutting property application, as well as the Berry Street development as a priority habitat, and in fact was confirmed to be an upland grazing area for Blanding's turtles. So, we're silent as to a determination onto that, but it doesn't negate the need for them to file with the National Heritage Program. That whole area with the vernal pools, all that we're talking about, and as it abuts that other, was very, very critical and involved an awful lot of back and forth with Natural Heritage and that developer and us. If you guys all recall.
Just to clarify, the priority habitat stops at this property boundary, but the certified vernal pools do exist within that resource area. I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, we know how those lines get made. So anyway, our determination is relative to the line itself and is silent with regards to the endangered species. I think the question of the pools and the utility of those pools and what species are using those pools, I think is something that needs to be discussed at a greater length at the time of application. And I don't want to hamstring ourselves by not including this discussion as part of this determination. So I think at the very least, we probably want to do a census of population and utilization of those pools, at the time that we actually get a filing, more than simply just, hydrologic features and topography.
Well, certainly we if this was mapped for priority habitat, we'd have to comply with all the applicable regulations that go along with that. But this lot specifically is not mapped as priority habitat or estimated habitat. I just want to make that clear.
I mean, I guess I'm not going to argue that. I don't have that map in front of me. I'm doing this all from recollection. But we just know how nature works, and that if immediately adjacent to this was a determination by science was proven to be in fact an issue. The turtles don't recognize property lines or whatnot. They simply move about where they need to move about, and maybe perhaps because of development of the abutting condo complex, in compliance, may have shifted migratory patterns and utilization patterns by these critters. And I think that I want to be clear that that by virtue of approving a line, we're not gating the importance of that question when the time of an application comes forward. From my perspective, I think it's an important one.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
That's a good point, Joe. And I think under our bylaw, we have all the ability to fully protect that no build zone and no disturb zone under our bylaw for the vernal pool. So even if it doesn't have natural heritage designation.
Right. Just, and I won't spend too much time on this. I just wanted to, point out that this is an existing single-family house lot. It's maintained right up to the stone wall that's adjacent to that property boundary. So I think you'll find when a notice of intent does come before this commission, that there'll be something that can be done in that area to help enhance that vegetative buffer between the buildable portions of the property and that pool itself.
No, and I'm not, Greg, if anybody's going to do a good job, it's you for sure. My point is that by virtue of us issuing a document that gives a determination, I want to make sure that by virtue of us not elaborating upon the importance of the endangered species or protected species, that it doesn't prevent us from being able to discuss it during the hearing. That's what, sure.
Understood. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Al?
No, and Joe, I agree with you. You're right. Even though the vernal pool is off-site, in a new application, we can protect the routes traveled, and we can condition things like distances of fences to the ground to not interfere with migratory routes, et cetera. So I agree with you. You're right on it. But I think my opinion is we can handle it when that lot comes in front of us.
Okay. All set?
And I am all set.
All right. Wonderful. Yeah, Greg, you're going to be your hands are going to be full doing this site because, as Joe stated, next to it was a lot of work to do with the natural heritage, and then when the land went back, I noticed Berry Street's not on here, but I know it was part of this property, and it was pretty contentious there for a while, what they could do or what they couldn't do on them 3 houses on Berry Street. So I can't see by this plan, but I'm sure we'll address all the issues when NOI comes before us. Thank you. Tony?
Yeah, I have no real substance questions. Just wanted to say the confusion on that line may also be coming from page 11. The Mass GIS Oliver viewer tends to jump sometimes. So
Yeah.
the line doesn't look like it's lined up at the property line. So I think that might be some of the confusion. But yeah, I have no problem. If Amy's all set with the line, I'm all set.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Tony brings up a good point. Amy caught that this morning. A lot of times when you print from Oliver, the line does jump, but we confirmed it this morning that it does match the town's GIS and the natural heritage data layer that's shown on Mass GIS. It's not what's represented in the ANRAD application.
Okay. All right. So we need a motion.
So I recommend you could close the hearing, and I would draft up findings for the next meeting.
Okay, so I'll move it. I'll move that we close the hearing and issue an ORAD confirming the delineation as presented with the additional language as suggested by Mr. Lynch.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
good
Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Minor modification, 242-1764, 137 Andover Street.
137. Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
That's the trustees, right, Amy?
Yes, it is, yep.
Okay.
Alrighty, so the commission will recall this is a request for a modification to the order that governs construction of a new access drive up the Spring and associated parking. The modification had 4 elements. The first being reconstruction of an upper concrete section of a 24-inch drain manhole that was discovered during DOT's investigation of the culvert running underneath Chickering. Removal of built-up sediment and debris blocking the outlet of the culvert running under Chickering that exits onto an intermittent channel on the Heritage Green condo property. So cleaning that out for positive flow. Excavating 60 to 80 yards of soils in the lower section of the newly installed stormwater basin that's related to the roadway and parking lot, access drive, and replace it with 1.5-inch clean crushed stone to create better infiltration capacity and function. And then finally, which was what the commission really discussed at length, was reestablishing the swale that runs along the northerly property line of the estate behind the residential properties on Old Village Lane to create positive flow and eliminate flooding that's occurring in the backyards. A portion of the swale will run into the buffer and connect to the existing riprap discharge point that is associated with the new infiltration basin. Let's see. So the commission requested an analysis and a drainage area plans to make sure there wasn't any downstream impacts from reestablishing this swale. And the town engineer provided an analysis and a memo that was included in your meeting material. The memo and associated plans show that even by incorporating this drainage area of the swale into Hancock stormwater calcs, that the resulting peak flows are still below existing peak flows. So that was basically what the commission was waiting for. So hopefully, I didn't hear any other requests for information. So the commission has questions or.
Okay, thank you. Jack?
Yeah, I don't have any more questions. I think Joe had some good questions last time, and I think, it looks like John Borghese has given us something substantial that looks like it makes sense. So I don't have any additional questions other than to let that go.
Okay, thank you. Joe?
Yeah, thank you. I believe too that, the questions we raised were legitimate, and I think the answers provided are also legitimate and help move this thing forward. I do have a question as far as moving forward with ongoing care of this culvert. Is this a state culvert or is it the town's? Are we obligating someone to work on state property, or is it within the town jurisdiction?
No.
I'm
So the
not
culvert,
clear on that.
no, the culvert itself is DOT's,
Yep.
but all the other work that's proposed in this modification is is not within DOT jurisdiction. So
Okay, so it's on either side of the roadway right of way, which is both trustees' property and adjacent to the condo complex.
yes.
Good. It's I think the abutters' concerns were legit, and I believe we've by pure perseverance, I think we've helped them here.
Yeah. Yep.
Not always possible, but I think we've done it. So yeah, I'm all set. Thank you.
Thanks.
Al?
I am all set. Thank you.
All right. Amy, did you get to look at those elevations, or is it just, it seems like where it says area of flooding,
Yeah.
is that elevation, it's hard to read, 112? Is that correct?
Let me pull it up because
All right. I'm just wondering if there's a valley there. Can you see that, Joe?
I'm reopening it myself.
Okay. Right where that red square is, where it says area of ponding, isn't it? I think that's elevation. And it's almost like,
You don't
9
mean
feet?
what page?
so the area of ponding, it looks to be that's the length of the property line. That's not an elevation. It looks like it's elevation of 211, around 211.5, 211 ish.
Okay.
If you go out to where the word existing swale is,
Oh, I do see it now.
see the
Okay.
grades 211.9, 211.5. So it's looking like that's elevation 211. If you follow that up into the area of ponding, it's 211 and something just lower than that,
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Then
which
that's
is
fine.
down by the culvert area. It's not. I mean, it's still pretty. That's still pretty much higher than that elevation that we just talked about. So
Okay.
I'm not sure it's going to give them a lot of relief, but certainly going to help them with some of this.
Yeah, they're gonna grade all the way from the area of ponding all the way to 125. That's the way I was told.
So
No, they're going to connect to the riprap discharge point of the new basin. They're not going to go all the way to Chickering.
okay.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask that question, Amy, because one of the other factors I thought was maintaining a buffer between what was disturbed area on this project and the abutters, and if they were in there and clearing trees and making a swale, I guess we'd have to have a compromise of improved drainage and minimization of flooding in exchange for losing some of that vegetative buffer. But you're saying that they're not digging in along that property line. It's only
No.
at the outfall itself.
Well, so Josh is with us with trustees. Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but so your intention is to not excavate or remove trees, but remove deadfall and leaf litter, and you can see the swale, in the field. It's just a matter of kind of clearing away obstructions and built up just detritus, right, Josh?
That's right, Amy, and we've talked to the abutters too, and we've done the screen plantings already on the inside of that existing tree cover. So the abutters are aware, and like you said, it's a balance here, but it's mostly, I don't anticipate any whole tree removal, mostly deadfalls and some elevation pruning just to get the machine in, but we'll go as minimal as we can.
Okay.
just keep in mind, everybody, that the majority of the work is out of the buffer. So,
Is that a buffer? Correct.
yeah, out of buffer, right?
Well, when we started this, when the project was started, our main concern was to make sure that the butters didn't get any more water than they originally were getting, because that's,
Right.
over there is very wet.
Right.
So, okay, I don't have any questions. Tony?
No, no questions.
All right. Motion?
So I would recommend approving the elements of this modification with conditions that require proper erosion control installation, work to be monitored by the erosion control monitor, and advance notification to the Conservation Department as to when these activities will commence.
So moved.
Second? I mean, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm trying to read and run the meeting at the same time. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks.
The next one is 242-1724, 21 High Street.
Alrighty. So the commission will recall that this modification consists of changing the location of an existing drainage pipe that is damaged and causing backup within the newly installed drainage system that handles runoff from Walker Road. This damaged pipe and another pipe, which the source of which is unknown, are proposed to be abandoned in place and plugged, and bank restoration is proposed. So this is at the bank of the East Mill Pond. At the last meeting, the commission requested additional information with regard to scour protection at the proposed relocated discharge point, associated riprap sizing calcs, and a bank restoration proposal. Calcs have been provided. A restoration proposal involves removal of invasives and replanting with 28 native shrubs and native seed mix. Our field inspector reviewed the restoration plan. We received a seed mix spec, which he's comfortable with. He recommends that perhaps instead of yanking or pulling the roots out of the invasives, instead cutting them and applying spot treatment of herbicide with follow-up as a better way to just eliminate the level of disruption and disturbance so close to the pond. And then recommending that a type of biodegradable blanket be placed over any exposed seed areas. So the commission, like I said, requested all this information, and hopefully it answers your question. It is sufficient. We do have project representatives with us this evening.
Okay, thank you. Jack, any questions?
Just comments, Lou. Looks like they took our input to heart last time. They gave us, looks like about 10 feet setback from the water's edge. They gave a riprap treatment on the outfall, and they missed the tree like they were going to do. It looks good to me. I don't have any questions. I think they complied with what we asked them to do. That's all.
Thank you, Jack. Joe?
Yeah, I agree. They've done everything we've asked. I'm all set.
Thank you. Al?
No questions.
Okay. Tony?
No questions.
Motion?
Let's see, what is it? To approve the modification with I don't know how you guys feel about our field inspector's recommendations. I just recommended to adopt them.
Sure.
Yes.
I move that we approve the minor modification for 242-1724 with inclusion of the field inspector recommendations for plantings and revegetation plans.
Second.
All
Can I
those
ask a quick question here,
Yeah.
guys? So maybe I've got the wrong thing in front of me. I got 1724 in front of me, and it's a request for a 2-year extension.
Oh, no,
No,
no.
there's
That's
two of
later.
them.
That's later.
That's later in the agenda.
So we got 2 1724s?
Yes.
Yes. One
Modification,
for
okay.
modification and then one for extension later.
I have it, I'm good, thank you. All set.
All right.
Call the vote.
So we have a motion.
And
You
a
have a
second.
motion and a second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Just on a side note, before I open up the other application, I just want to let the commission know that Taylor has been doing an excellent job as our new field inspector. I've worked him half a dozen times already, and Amy did very well finding us a new associate.
Yay.
Good job.
Terrific. Thank you,
Yes.
Taylor.
I echo that.
Thank you all.
Oh, I didn't even know he was on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He attends these meetings.
I wouldn't have patted you on the head if I knew you were there.
Hey, Al, if he keeps this up, he'll be ready for a bout in the octagon.
He'll be ready. We'll get him ready.
Okay, next one is an enforcement order, 240 Marble Ridge Road. Another Taylor project.
Yeah.
Let's see. Forgot to print out the recommendation. Hold on. Alrighty, so the commission will recall in March of 2019, the Conservation Department observed tree removal at 240 Marble Ridge within the 25-foot no disturb zone to a small pond on the property. On at the March 20th, 2019 meeting,
Amy, you still there? We've lost Amy.
We've lost Amy.
Oh, man. Cut the engines and throw the life preservers over.
She's the only one who can get herself back.
I'm going to send her a text.
Yeah, because right now she's probably talking to herself.
I just sent her a message telling her she's off.
Okay. She must be texting me. Yeah. Nah. All right, my computer just shut
Sure.
down.
Yeah,
Good
she's
update.
her computer started updating in the middle of the meeting, so she's going to have to get control of the computer. So
Okay.
we have to stand by, Mr. Chairman.
Okie dokie. Yeah, she just texted me.
She's going to call in. It's a very unfortunate time to update, huh?
You gotta love it.
Yeah. I think they have minds of their own anyway.
I know. I was doing that with my phone today. My phone automatically did an update and took half my phone connections away. All my important ones. People that I don't even want to talk to anymore are still on there, and ones that I use every day disappeared.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. And I'm in the middle, Sprint and Mobile merged, and all the Sprint stores are closed. So I went up to the place that I used to go to, and the store is there, but there's nobody in it.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm
All
so
right,
sorry about
we got her back. All right.
that. My computer just decided to go into update mode by itself.
That's awesome.
Ah,
Oh, okay. So I was on 240 Marble Ridge, right?
We're
yes.
on,
Yes.
we're on
Yes.
240 mile
Yes.
Ridge. Yes, yes, indeed.
Okay. So, our field inspector did a follow-up inspection. The commission required 4 maple trees to be replanted, and they've been in the ground for, I believe, a year and a half or a year. And
Year and a half. Year and a half.
Year and a half, yep. And so Taylor found them to be healthy, and that's probably a good thing considering our drought year last year, this past summer. So he actually talked to the homeowner about what's called volcano mulching around the base of the tree,
Right.
educated him a little bit. And so he recommends that we lift the enforcement order.
Okay, any questions, Jack?
None, not a one.
Joe?
None, I'm fine.
Al?
I'm good.
Tony?
No questions.
Motion?
I move that we lift the enforcement order as requested by the field inspector.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous. Next one is request for an extension, 242-16, oh, I can't do this one. 242-1692, I'll refer to Vice Chairman, Mr. Manzi.
Thank you, thank you. Amy,
Yes,
why
All
don't
right.
you present 1210 for us, please?
I will. All right. So this order was issued in January of 2017 and governs the construction of a mixed-use development. The order was extended last year, and the work on the residential side is essentially complete. Areas there are stabilized and erosion controls are slowly being removed as appropriate and under direction of the erosion control monitor. Work remains on the commercial side, which was delayed for a few months due to COVID-19. The groundwater treatment system continues to operate successfully, and I provided you guys with the latest data from the treatment system. Our third-party peer review, Mike Sabulis, gets that as I do, so he's in possession of those at all times. And so they're requesting it will be their final one-year extension. I recommend that you issue the one-year extension. Also, just a reminder that the hearing for the amendment to the order as initiated by the commission is still open and pending. We had suspended discussion when COVID-19 hit, thinking that it would be best to be in person to do it, but I don't think we're going to be in person anytime soon. So we should probably think about resurrecting the discussion and continuing with the hearing at some point. But
Well, there were two things. There were two things that were going to happen with that, real quick. The applicant was going to suggest some language with respect to perpetual conditions, and we were going to you and me and anybody else on the commission that wanted to participate. We're going to sit down with town council, review the proposals made by the applicant, and then finalize it with our own version as how we want it. That's with respect to the trench, the interceptor trench, primarily. So we were waiting for the applicant's engineer to give us what they would hope to see, and then we would then sit down with it, analyze it, dissect it, and eventually come up with our own version. But we were giving them a chance to make suggestions. So if you haven't received anything from them, my suggestion would be to make contact and remind them that that's what they're supposed to be doing.
okay.
And then as I just said, they're just going to be giving us language, what they hope. We will finalize it the commission will finalize it, but we want the participation of town council as well, because these are going to be conditions that live on for quite some time. Because as we've seen, the trending data hasn't changed with respect to the numbers. So it's going to be probably long past my time on this commission. That thing's still going to be monitored. So
Right.
anyway, that's my answer to that. So yeah, they're separate items. Let's definitely keep them. Make sure that they're treated as separate.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have made some progress on a draft amended order, so it's not like it got dropped totally, but
No, I didn't mean to imply that it got dropped.
no, it's okay.
I just wanted to make sure that there was no question that where we are on it, what exactly where we are.
Yes. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I'll be quiet now. Go ahead.
So I don't know if anyone else had a question or.
Why don't we start at the beginning? I think if I recall, the order goes for May Day, and then Joe, and then Tony.
Yeah, I agree that we need to extend this order. There still needs to be work done on the site. I mean, eventually, looking at this water quality data, we're still having effluent pH readings in the 11-12 range. We just probably need a simplistic understanding of what it all means, and I'm sure we can do that. But there still needs to be work done, and I'm totally in favor of the extension. That's
okay,
all,
thank you.
Al.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lynch.
Yeah, I completely agree. Got to keep moving on. I think the record needs to be solidified prior to the expiration of this extension that we're contemplating. But in the same token, we need to probably recognize the possibility that, this project's likely to continue under an enforcement order after the orders and conditions have expired for the last time. Because I don't think we're going to get this thing completed in another year.
No, and that's why I was talking about a condition that would live on, something in the order of conditions, something that will live on. But we may need a blend of both, a perpetual condition or perpetual conditions in the plural, and an enforcement order short term. So, but that's exactly where I was going with it too. But
yeah, and I'm not talking about doing anything tonight. I'm just saying, we need to realize that this is likely to go beyond the expiration of this order, and we got to start thinking about that.
Yep, agreed. Okay, Tony.
No issue with the extension. The only comment I have is possibly breaking it into two smaller extensions to make them have to come back. I don't have the whole history though, as far as the issue with the underground, so I'm fine either way.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's get a motion going and move it along. Amy's recommendation is to grant the final one-year extension as requested.
So moved.
Do we want to add to that extension request a timetable for when we expect to move forward, or is it simply the record will stand on its own?
I think it stands on its own four corners. They have a one-year extension. They're going to want the order of conditions to be finalized, and they're going to want us to close because we have it open right now. That order of conditions is open, and everything's on the table. So I think that it's in everybody's favor to move forward, and get it all done. No question.
Okay, I'm all set.
All right. Any other questions or concerns? If not,
We have
a motion.
I'm sorry. We have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion and second signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. 1-year extension granted. Thank you.
One recusal. Lou.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lou's getting the gavel back right now. You're back in the box here, kid. Let's go.
All righty. 242-1724. Request for an extension on 21 High Street.
All righty. So they're actually asking for a 2-year extension, but I'm going to defer to the commission whether it's a 1-year or 2-year. So the order we just talked about, a modification to the order. It was issued in January of 2018, and it governs the construction of a 51-unit residential apartment building and improvements to existing and associated parking lots, stormwater management facilities, and landscaping. Commission, like I said, just got finished reviewing the modification for the drainage pipe. Work on the residential building has yet to commence, with National Grid power line relocation and COVID-19 both impeding the intended schedule. They plan to start construction in 2021 and estimate a 13 to 15 month construction schedule to completion. They're asking for a 2-year extension, but I defer to the commission as to whether you'd want to do a 1 or a 2 year.
All right. Thank you. Jack?
If my memory serves me right, I think our bylaw says we're allowed to issue up to 2 1-year extensions.
Correct.
Okay. So I would be in favor of a 1-year extension according to the guidelines of our bylaw.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's all I got, Lou.
All right. Thank you. Jack? Joe, I'm sorry.
I was wrestling whether it was bylaw or regulations, but that's exactly as I remember it. And, not that we wouldn't consider a 2-year or a second request after the first year, but I think we're only allowed to do 1 at a time, 1 year at a time, and not more than 2. So, 1 year I support.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Al?
I agree with their interpretation, 1 year.
Okay. I believe it's 1 year also. Tony?
Okay. No comments.
All right. Motion to extend the 21 High Street, 242-1724 to 1 year.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Okay, we have 2 decisions.
Okay.
242-1752, which would be 1270 Salem Turnpike.
All right, so I drafted up that for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it. You sent it right in?
Oh yeah, yep.
All right.
Yeah.
I have to search. I have to search through my
January 11th.
January 11th. Okay, thank you. That helps.
So, was it Jack that talked about snow storage? And I'm not sure I remembered to put a condition to talks about it.
Yeah, and I don't remember which condition that's usually addressed. It's obviously after construction.
Right. I'll just add it after 72. That the commission wanted that excess snow be removed after the designated stockpilers are filled or at their capacity.
Yeah, I thought
Yep.
we had.
Yeah, we did talk about it. It should be in the order along with as it is identified on the plan.
Okay.
Is there? I don't think there is any.
So we should. So the condition. Excuse me, Lou. Go ahead if you want. I was going to talk about the condition.
Okay.
It should include.
I'm just looking quickly at the plan. I don't see any snow storage.
They're,
On sheet C2, sheet C2 has a legend of numbers that identify different features on the plan. And item number 22 is snow stockpiling locations.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Amy, what I was going to say was we probably should include in the condition that signage should be installed
oh, yes.
identifying snow stockpiling locations.
Okay, that will be pre-construction.
Oh, that's pre-construction, yeah.
Do you think, or should it be?
Yeah.
I think you could append condition number 44, where it says no salt and no snow stockpiling signs should be added if missing per condition 67. And then,
Oh, okay, yes.
you
All
could
right.
probably just add, and acceptable stockpiling area
Okay,
designated.
all right.
That makes sense.
Okay, so I'll add.
So that condition 44 cross-references condition 67, but I'm looking at 67 and I'm not sure how they tie together.
The
Maybe-
first part of 44 ties to it because they want proof of maintenance of the stormwater.
Yeah.
It might have almost made sense to split it into two conditions, or 44 and 44A, and just break out the snow from the stormwater.
Okay. We'll read 44 again. Yeah, I think what I'm getting out of condition 44 is misleading. No salt zone and no snow stockpiling sign shall be added if missing, period. Not per order condition number 67, because 67 has nothing to do with snow stockpiling. The earlier part of that certainly is germane to condition 62 to 67. But it's almost, I think you're right, Tony. It's almost it's a separate condition.
Yeah, okay, I'll separate it out.
Yeah.
All right. And the other question I have is, I don't think the bond is high enough.
Yeah, it was 3,000 initially.
Yeah, I think it should be 5 at the minimum. But I'll defer to my commissioners to decide what they think.
Through you, Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes.
How do you approach setting the bond? Is it's not to complete the work because it's on private property. Is it to? I'm just for my own purposes going forward when I review.
Well, we usually leave the bond. We tend to try and leave it a little high just in case they don't do something that they're supposed to, and we have some money to fix what they don't do.
Okay.
It's really a motivator for certain, but it's driven by the risk potential of what's being proposed for activity. Not to say that it's arbitrary, because it's far from that, but the reality is if they do everything and don't get an as-built plan, for example, I mean, it could easily cost $2,000 to $3,000 to get an as-built plan. So we try to at least cover at the very least that part of it. But But, on a site like this where we're completely surrounded by resource areas with great threat of impact, if something were to go wrong, I think it would be higher than the norm, which is around 3,000. So I agree. I think we're looking at something closer to 5 on this.
Yep. Jack, might as well start at the first. What do you think?
Well, I think it's appropriate that more than 3,000 for this amount of work is appropriate. It looks like 5,000 is reasonable to me. I don't have a strong feeling either way, so.
Okay.
Sorry.
Joe, you're comfortable with the 5?
I am, yes.
Okay. Al?
I am also comfortable.
Tony?
I'm going to defer to the wisdom of the board on this one.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so Amy, I guess it's going to be 5.
Okay.
Amy, do you think we need a condition post-construction specifying that only the designated snow stockpiling zones can be used to store snow, and if additional snow storage capacity is needed, that additional snow needs to be trucked off site?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I thought we had already talked about that.
Yeah, post-construction. Excess snow shall be removed from the site once the designated snow storage areas are at capacity. Is that okay?
Perfect.
That
Perfect.
works.
Yeah, active tense.
Okay.
Any more questions?
I don't have any.
Not
Oh,
from me.
Other than those things we talked about, looks great.
Great. All right, so we need a motion.
I move
Approve
that we,
ended order conditions as modified. Is
second,
it amended?
Amended. Yeah.
That works.
And Jack seconded.
Yep.
Jack seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Okay. Next one, decision 242-1803, 59 Bannon Drive.
So I proposed a $1,000 bond.
Amy, is there something different about this one? Because you've got all those findings of fact highlighted.
Yeah, I wanted to try that out. I don't know how you
Oh.
feel about like putting that.
I was thinking the same thing. We would typically do that when the application was somewhat convoluted or controversial.
Okay.
And but this NOI was actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I read the statement of fact and finding of fact, and it was accurate, so I didn't take exception to it. It's a lot of work, and I appreciate that.
It's just, I think for posterity, it's just nice to have that perspective in the beginning when someone starts reading an order. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Whatever you guys want.
Oh, I like it, but I recognize it's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
it's not always necessary. But in
Yeah,
this case, it's not hurt either.
Yeah. I definitely always want to make sure I include past permits. It's just good to keep track.
Yeah, it makes it easier for you to research too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially the way some of our records have been moved around.
I know.
We've got some good stories about that, huh?
Yes, we do. Our records have several miles logged on them. And everybody is comfortable with the $1,000 bond?
I think that's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
on this one, it's
Yeah.
much of a risk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Site's flat as a pancake.
Mm. I'm looking at condition 55, and I'm sure it's a standard condition, but I kind of take exception to singling out any one condition as being more important than any of the others.
I inherited that, so that.
I know.
I think it's
Just
more
like
so
to worry
the
about the
applicant
others.
can read it.
Pay attention to this one and only this one. It's really important.
I know, right?
Well, to the person building it, it is if they get a cease and desist for not filing a certified.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I didn't even look at the other one. And you have that the foundations have to be certified on all of them, right?
Yeah, when there's a new structure, I
Okay.
keep that condition in.
Right. Okay.
Looks pretty straightforward as
Yeah.
they've gone through it. I have nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I'm good.
So that
I don't
we
think
need a
I
motion.
did anything.
What's that?
I recommend that I move that we adopt the order conditions as drafted.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. And last but not least, we need signature authorization.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Motion to adjourn.
I will move that.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. How's that, Al?
Listen, I want to thank you very much. I want to thank everybody. I have to be in bed by 9, so this is perfect. Thank you all.
Awesome.
Hey, can you get a chance in the next couple of weeks? Can you give me a call so we can discuss a situation?
Tomorrow, if that's okay.
Yeah, I sent you an email earlier that the phone number that's in there is the best one to reach me on.
All right, that's the one I'll use.
Thank you. See you.
All
Good
right,
night.
thanks, guys.